What's going on, everyone, man? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Justin here, and welcome to what I'm calling the Christian Entrepreneurs 2023 Success Blueprint. This video I'm hoping is coming to you timely. I know a lot of you are in prep for this coming year, and that means 2023. It's crazy to think that 2023 is upon us. And man, I really wanted to create a video, really wanted to put some information out there that would really help the Christian entrepreneur have more success in 2023 than they did in 2022. I've just got a heart and passion for Christian entrepreneurship. I believe that entrepreneurship is something that is a God thing. And I just want to see more Christian entrepreneurs win in the space of business, in the space of entrepreneurship. And so, I want to dive into really what I'm calling really the best 2023 for Christian entrepreneurs, and what I think is necessary, and how to set yourself up right to have a really good 2023. And here's the first piece that I want to talk about is I believe 2023 is going to be based on your ability to be as introspective and as emotionally detached from the results and being more connected to the input and what you're doing to actually drive results. So what does that mean? Man, I think for the entrepreneur in 2023, that you've got to be okay with the lagging measures of success. Your success is not always going to be linear. It's not going to always be up and to the right. It's not always going to be a quick formula. Man, if I do this, I'm gonna get this result. Or man, if I do that, I'm gonna get exactly that result. That's not always how things happen for entrepreneurs, especially if you're being called by God and if you're being led by God. That's not always how things happen for Christians, right? So here's the first thing that I think if you want to have a really solid 2023 when it comes to running your business and being successful in your business, I think you got to first do a post-mortem and do an autopsy on 2022. I think it's important for you to take a look at what happened in 2022. Your first thing is like, how do I make sure that I be very intentional about being successful in 2023? The first step to, I believe, success in 2023 is going to be really a deep dive into 2022. Now, what does that deep dive and what would that deep dive look like? Here's one of the biggest things is we're going to put everything under the microscope, right? So everything will have to go under a microscope. Everything that we do, how we set ourselves up, how intentional we are, everything will have to go under a microscope. So what does this microscope look like? Here's the first thing is I want you to think through, and I want you to do really a chronological look back over your year. So the first thing I would say is look at your bank account. Go back, and this is the piece that I'm not sure that everybody will do, but here's one of the biggest things. Go back, take a look at your bank account, and don't just look at your app. Look at the actual bank statements. And the bank statements can be revealing because they summarize things in a way that your bank app doesn't, right? Let's first look at the finances. Let's first look at the money. The heart follows the pocketbook, and wherever your treasure is, there your heart is also. And so one of the best, I think, ways to understand how the year went is look at where your heart was, and I'll know where your heart was, and you'll know where your heart was based on where your money went. So let's look at the bank account and look at your actual bank statements and go month by month, right? And I want you looking at, let me look at like, what was the top money into my account every single month, right? What is the money that I made every single month into my account? What is the money that came out of my account, right? What was the starting balance? What was the ending balance? Start trying to find trends in your bank statements and in your bank account and all that kind of stuff, right? Like get intentional about being curious. If you were somebody else, not if you were you, but if you were looking at your finances and looking at your bank statements like somebody that you didn't know, and it would tell a story. What story does your bank account tell about how your 2023 went? This is one of the biggest things. And so I think if you can get intentional about where every dollar is going and how you spent it, and doing really, again, a post-mortem on how your finances went, that'll be one of the big foundational pieces when it comes to helping you grow a business and helping you be more successful. Is whether you're looking at your personal finances, you could also be looking at your business finances, whatever, like however you structure your organization, things like that, right? But get intentional about looking at those numbers. So that'll be the first one, is put your finances under a microscope. Here's another one. is put your social life slash patterns under a microscope. What did that look like? One of the best ways that I can see how I did in a year is looking at my stories, like my Instagram stories or my Facebook stories, and being able to look back, look at January, look at February, look at March. What was I doing? What was I talking about? What was I capturing? What was important to me? What was I posting about? What was I sharing? What was I retweeting? So go and look at your social media. Go and look at your social life and what you were actually doing, where you were, where you traveled. Go and look at your camera, go and look at your pictures and look at where did you travel in last January, and February, and March, and April. Look at your social life. This is another piece that if you could deal with health, wealth, and relationships, and this is really what I'm breaking down today, is having you look at your health, wealth, and your relationships. And if we can tackle all three of those things, you'll find that you'll be able to do a successful post-mortem on 2022. So look at your finances, look at your relationships. So go look at your social life, go look at things you talked about. If you keep, I don't know if you're anybody like myself, but I keep all of my text messages. So I can look back and see messages from 5 months ago, 6 months ago, a year, 2 years, 5 years ago. So I can look at to see all the conversations that I was having and who I was talking to, who I was connecting with, all that kind of stuff, right? So go look at your whole social life piece, right? And lastly is let's talk about your health, right? Put your health under a microscope. If you look at old pictures, look at pictures of yourself. Do you take pictures of yourself? Do you post? Was there a time of the year that you were a little heavier? You know, you might have been a little fluffier than normal. Or was there a time you're like, man, I was really killing. I really had the body that I wanted, or I really had the physique that I wanted. Or man, I was doing really good with eating here, right? When you look at your social media or you look at your photos, do you see a bunch of food pics and plates at fried chicken and burger spots? Or are you eating good? Are you eating clean, right? So the first step is to deep dive into your 2022. And if you were an investigative reporter, or if you were, a journalist, or if you were a detective, right? What would your information say about you? How would somebody third party describe you based on doing that deep dive in 2022? So I think that's one of the most important things. If we don't look at what we did in one season, we'll repeat that same thing in the next season. And you won't go into a new year, a new you. You'll go into a new year, the same you, just trying to add on different things and not even necessarily knowing what is gonna work and what's gonna drive the needle for your life.